Om. Namaste. Hope all are doing very fine. Expecting this particular video. We have already discussed many things in about 300 plus videos for the last few years. Many of our members are really are advanced in understanding about the spiritual myth, the Maya, the Brahman, the Ishvara, the Shakti, the Shivam, and Prakriti, Purusha, Yoga, Tantra, etc. etc. Many things we discussed in depth, many things we understood in depth. Still, fortunately or unfortunately, we remain ignorant. What we learned is just a fist of the hand or less than that, or a minute particle of the fist. What we need to understand, what we need to learn is much more than an ocean itself. This being the real fact in everybody's life, nobody is well versed, nobody is fully understood, no one is fully knowledgeable. Some time back we discussed about Mantra Piteshwari, the deity who is holding 72 crore sacred mantras with. In spite of holding 72 crore mantras, still at one or other stage we have seen the Devi herself become ignorant before Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva himself depicted as having become ignorant before Devi. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma both exhibited ignorance before Subramanya, Shanmuga, Kanda, Kumara, Subramanya Swami, Shasta, various names attributed to Murugan, Kanda, Kadirvela. So in one or other part of the life journey, at one or other junctures, one becomes ignorant. For example, very important thing what we can recall is when the Samudra Manthan was happening, when churning of the ocean of milk happened, the poison came out. Just think, at that moment, everyone, including the Devas and Asuras, were taken by a shock and they did not know what to do. They were perplexed. They become unaware what to do with the alahala poison which emerged from the churning of the Samudra Manthan. This being the case, we will continue to be ignorant. We will continue to exhibit ignorance. We continue to learn one or other thing from one or other persons. As and when we learn something new, we feel so happy that we have learned that particular thing which was ignorant before us. With the knowledge of that thing also, still we remain ignorant because the Turiya is always incomplete, can be comprehended by giving these explanations. Also, why Turiya is incomplete. Things set apart, we claim so many things before so many people. We put a big certification for ourselves. We make a very big business card or visiting card, putting all our qualification, what we have forgotten, add everything in the reprinting edition. And many people come and praise us that we are so elevated soul because we know so many things, we know so much. All becomes dust when we become ignorant of silly things also. For example, we think we are male, we think that we are female, we are full. I become independent. I am very independent, I am not dependent on anybody. Many people in our presence claim so. But my understanding is we are off. We are not full. How do we accept this one? How to come to an agreement for this particular statement? One need not agree. The moment we agree that we are ignorant and we wanted to learn. The moment we do not want to agree, the ego engulfs us and we become so much filled with arrogance not to learn. There we put a gate, we put a wall not to learn anything. Today we will learn something. Why we are 50? How do we prove ourselves? We cannot see our back until someone tells something is there in our back. Until we put two mirrors, one in front and one in back, we do not know what is there in our back. We can see only 59 to 60% of the moon from anywhere on earth because of its elliptical in nature. We can see maximum of 58 to 60% of the moon. Any round or ball shaped object can be seen only 50%, plus minus 1% here and there. So, the 50% is visible and the other 50% is invisible. What is visible only we accept, what is invisible, normally we do not accept it. What is that 50% invisible contains? We label it as Purusha, Prakriti, positive, negative, male, female. Does it hold good all the time? As for understanding some realities as a story, we will discuss Purusha and Prakriti. But we cannot go on holding the same theory all through our life that Purusha 50%, Prakriti is 50%, Purusha is male, Prakriti is female, Ardhanarishvara, one is positive, one is negative. Some discussion went on. I was witness to reading that message. One member from somewhere was mentioning, if it is so, do you mean to say that Lord Shiva is positive and Shakti is negative? Another person extended the argument to say that no, I cannot see Lord Shiva as negative. How can it happen? Lord Shiva is neither positive nor negative. Should be our understanding. We must be open to everything. We cannot put a gate. We can construct a bridge so that water flows from here to there. But we should not build a wall so that the knowledge never goes that side and knowledge never comes this side. That condition we should always avoid and be prepared to available to everything. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are one and the same, are three. Brahma is for creation, Vishnu is for maintenance, sustenance, and Shiva is for dissolution or destruction. When this theory was put before us, we should have immediately understood why Brahma is not worshipped. We need not have entered into any argument with anybody. We must have understood why Brahma is not worshipped. Maintenance can be seen and understood. Destruction can be witnessed and seen and experienced. But how can we understand? How can we see the creation? Have we seen our creation? We are growing, we are eating, we are nurturing, we are running, we are exerting, we are in all the activities. We are able to see that We are being maintained by ourselves. We claim, I keep my body very fit. I am a bodybuilder. My body is always I maintain. So many statements. But ultimately it is Vishnu, Mahavishnu who is the maintainer, not us. But we are very good at putting labels like politicians. Let us not put labels for ourselves. Let us put everything Sarvamu Krishnarpanamastu. Sarvamu Brahmarpanamastu. Sarvama Ishwar Prasadam. That attitude will open ways and means for us to understand. I have a thinking, I have a thought process. I was shown by Babaji why Brahma is not worshipped. Because creation is not seen by us. We do not see Brahma. That which creates the creation is not seen by us. Something being created we are able to see. A child is being born we are able to see. But we are not able to see our own creation, whereas we are able to see our destruction. At the time of death, we know that death is coming to us. Death is very nearer to us. At the time of keeping up ourselves, our well-being, we know that from a childhood, we become innocent boys and girls. We become adolescent. We become grown-up men or women. We are becoming or attaining the old age also. But how do we see the creation itself? So, the creator God Brahma is not worshipped is the authentic statement we should discuss and accept or reject according to our way of understanding. It may be a new thinking. Let us accept this new thinking. Nothing wrong in it. There is no hard and fast rule that Sapta Rishis have come, Ashta Rishis will not come. They are open to everything. They have given a key to us. It is for us to open the eighth key. It is for us to put the eighth key and open the eighth door where the Ashta Rishi, this eighth Rishi also will emerge. With that understanding, let us discuss further. Because of these reasons, what we discussed, there is no physical worship of Brahma himself. We can find some logic in this. You can accept the logic as wisdom or reject the logic as something like poor understanding or idiotic. We extend a theory, the male is positive, female is negative. Surya is positive, right side. Chandra is negative, left side. Surya Nadi is positive, heat oriented. Chandra Nadi is water oriented. So it is negative. It is just for an understanding. The reality is, it is self-creation, self-sustenance and self-destruction or self-dissolution. Shiva and Vishnu are one and the same. You are a son to your parents at home. You are father to your child or your children. You are husband or wife to your spouse. When you step out of the house, you become Sir, Swamiji, Guruji, etc. to some people. When you enter a temple, you become disciple. When you go to your office, you become a manager or a managing director or a vice president or a president or a general staff. Each place according to the object of work and assignment given to us, we put the costume and we act. If we happen to be an attorney, a barrister, we go to the court with black coat. Yes or no? There we become an advocate to somebody, advocating ideas of legal requirements. In the same way, wherever we need to invoke the power of Shiva We look that object of Shiva, Shivalingam as Shiva. When we want to invoke the power of Vishnu, we invoke superimposing a costume on the deity as Vishnu. Same thing happens between when you want to see the divine deity Mataji, Lakshmi, you will put that costume and superimpose and see. After some time you superimpose Saraswati costume and seek blessings for your wisdom and education. After some time you want to change the costume for the same deity as Durga and you wanted to seek bravery, courage from Durga Devi. As your mind thinks, so the object also changes either physically or non-physically, mentally. We have earlier discussed at the beginning it was Brahman, then it was silent, no qualities, no gunas. The Triguna Ishwari, Maya Devi, comes and plays a trick and our mind becomes victim. We start getting appeal from Maya to that extent that illusion is real and real is illusion. As a result, we create positive and negative, Purusha and Prakriti, male and female. Because we have moved from the understanding of one to more than one. The moment we introduce Prakriti, the moment we understand as Purusha and Prakriti, immediately the Maya has already entered, and the moment Maya enters, superimposition happens on 1 to 1 and 2. The 2 starts creating with the concept of Maya and 2 goes on multiplying. As a result, for some time or more time, it looks more and more births, more and more people, more and more population. How Maya plays a role. At one stage, all 150 crore people in this nation and 650 crore people outside, including this nation. When everybody leaves this, no one is there, no trace is there. Is it not the play or trick of Maya? Let us introspect. We need not refer any sacred books, any Vedic books for this understanding. If we are open to understanding and open to discussion, the enormous gain we will understand. Our BP from any level will come down to normal level, what has been set as normal by the medical fraternity. So, instead of we understanding Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, the creation, sustenance and dissolution, we can understand in a more refined way self-creation, self-sustenance and self-dissolution or self-destruction. The Purusha, in order to self-create, has created a superimposed entity called Prakriti with the help of Maya. But Maya grabs everything and leaves Purusha as immobile. Prakriti becomes creative. Prakriti creates a male. Prakriti creates an entity, superimposes with the features of Purusha. creates another entity, superimposes it with characteristics of Prakriti, superimposes as male, superimposes as female, superimposes as plus, superimposes as minus. Understand? This is our understanding. There is no male, there is no female. For example, any creation, when it comes out in anything, we give a superimposed name to a gold chain because it contains prominently the characteristics of gold, which glitters in gold color or predominantly has the characteristics of gold, we call it as gold. Then in order to little more understanding, we say rolled gold. Then we call it as 1 gram gold. Then we call it as artificial gold. Then we call it as 18 karat gold, 22 karat gold, and that original gold we call it as a apparanji gold, pure gold. Then a very valid question can be raised. Then how can it happen without a male, female can come and without female, male can come out? Let us see the alternate current, a symbol like this. Whatever is predominant characteristics of a male understanding, we label it as superimposed name called male. Whatever is little soft, little amenable, little empathetic oriented creation, we call it as Prakriti and label it as female. If there was no male hidden in female, how could have Kittur Rani Chennamma would have emerged? How could have Jhansi Rani emerged herself to fight the mighty Britishers? How it was possible? So as and when we want that energy, we will invoke and bring it out. Emotion starts emerging out as a result of death of a close relative. A strong man melts and starts crying. How the female tendency within him, inert, dormant female energy comes out and he starts crying. Because that situation requires him to invoke the female energy. Like the alternate current, when positive is going up, the negative will come down. When the negative is going up, the positive will come up. Another example is the tides. The tides go up and down, up and down. It is an action, reaction, activity of the male and female tendency. When the tide goes up, the female energy goes down. When the female energy goes up, the male energy comes down. In a cycle, when we pedal a cycle, mechanical, manual pedaling cycle, when the right leg goes down, the left leg comes up and vice versa it happens. So there is no identified male or female. We invoke the energy of female. When female is required, we will invoke that. When male is required, we invoke that. Both are the same energy. My back becomes front when I turn this side. My front will become back when I turn other side, is to be the understanding. The ultimate truth only can be felt. You cannot see. The intelligence of a person can only be observed and understood, but we cannot see. Just because you are tangible as a male, one cannot ignore the invisible female in you. Just because a male is born with a linga, he cannot ignore the yoni. Just because a female is born with a yoni, she cannot ignore the linga within her as illusion, because the linga and yoni both are illusion created by Maya. When both are created by Maya, how can one become tangible and how can another become non-tangible is the question we should ask ourselves. So, there is male in us, there is female in us. As and when we want male energy, the female energy slightly goes down in order to give a push to us from the bottom. As and when a female energy is required by us, the male energy goes down and lifts us up to give that needed female energy. We have already discussed the one appears to be true, for some time it is tangible, we are fooled and we are misguided by Maya to think the one is not there and the two is here and now. This is an ignorant understanding. If it was not the trick of the Maya, the Brahman one would have remained as Brahman one, and this physical world for the play of the divinity would not have emerged as it is now. The play is extended shorter or longer by the divinity. As a result of this, for a shorter period or for a longer period, we are able to see the tangibility and existence of the world itself and all its actions. Just because the entire world and its creations are continuous process, we are able to see the continuous process of emerging and destruction. We are only able to see the creation and we are only able to see the physical, tangible presence of anything. We are so much engrossed in that. As a result, we ignorantly fail to understand the creation, the destruction, both of it. As a result, we are remaining all the time in the present. Be present, live in this moment is totally mistaken by us. Live in this present means live without the attachment of the past and the future. But whereas we are under the understanding that the present is going to be permanent and we are clinging to the permanent and we are clinging to the present as the permanent for us. This ignorance we need to eradicate from our mind. It will be a little difficult for anybody to understand, but once or twice if you go through this discussion, definitely there will be clarity. As the things are continuing, the world also continues. Just imagine, all of us, the future generations, everyone becomes sannyasis or sannyasis. What will happen? There will be no creation. When there is no creation, there is no requirement for any houses, any production, any food articles, any cultivation, any agriculture, any horticulture, any industrial product. Then one by one, people will become aging and die. Then this entire world will become dead rocks. Yes or no? In order to make it active, the Maya plays a role and brings activity. That activity continues to be in motion. As a result, we will have to accept the creation, sustenance and the dissolution as the single energy in different transformations, different requirements with the different energies to operate and to keep it maintained. Each unit has its own composition. In that composition, If one unit is predominantly male, we label it with a superimposed name as male. Is in the same way, vice versa, also female. Therefore, the pure understanding is there is no negative, there is no positive. There is no Purusha, there is no Prakriti. There is no male, there is no female. It does not mean that there is no negative or positive. The negative complements the positive and the positive complements the negative. The Purusha, for the time being, with the introduction of Maya, removes certain energies and superimposes as Prakriti and allows it to complement the Prakriti to Purusha and Purusha to Prakriti is the correct understanding we should reach to a conclusion and to a wisdomful understanding. The core is beauty. Let us understand in a different way. Okay, this is becoming a little more. We will split this video into two. The second part we will continue with another understanding. Till we come out with the second part, let us take leave and continue to see this discussion again and again, so that when the second part you see, we will have a little more understanding within us. With that understanding, we can have more awareness. With that more awareness, more wisdom will get into our being. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha.